So I got my start over on the TikTok app. That's the first place where I went that things really started to just take off at a rapid pace. I had put a video on YouTube that did really well, but the ones that I put up after that really couldn't seem to gain traction. And then over on TikTok, it just started going through the roof for me. And I developed a good following over there and met so many great people that I work alongside of today, like the Midas Touch Network. Shout out to the Midas Mighty. I met them over there. I met Texas Paul over there, Coach D, Superman Todd, Cricket, Hawk. So many great people. If I start naming them all, I'll feel bad for leaving somebody off, but there's so many people over there who I enjoy, and I enjoy hearing their takes on things. But I grew tired of the TikTok app a long time ago because of the way that the system was ran and the way that we were always getting hit with community guideline violations for things we didn't do. We would win appeals, and then the strikes against our accounts would stand anyway. And so I just found that it was way too much. I was putting too much energy into something that I wasn't getting anything back out of at all. And I don't even mean that in a monetary way. I just mean it from the angle of I'm working to put these videos out, and then they're getting slapped down. And then when I win an appeal and they say, sorry for the inconvenience, and then I get another one, they say, oh, that's so many strikes against you, so you're out for a while. And I got kicked out of the monetizing anyway for about a year, and then they let me back in, and then I don't know. It's just been very frustrating. So I will share some of my reels over there, some of my short reels. I'll put those over there. I rarely post original content there, and I sure as hell am not going to be posting content there if it's going to be owned and controlled by Fox News. And yeah, I said that out loud, and I'm not shocked at all. Because when Elon bought Twitter, he turned it into a megaphone for hatred, a megaphone for hate speech, a megaphone for white supremacy. He did. They can get mad at us all day for saying that, but that's what it become. And so now that Fox News pretty much controls the entire Trump administration, now they're going to try to own TikTok as well. So when the American version of the app comes out, I'm really on the fence if I'll even be on it at all. I know a lot of my friends are of the belief that we should stay in those spaces and fight the good fight. But how do you fight a good fight if it's going to be ran by people from Fox News who says we are at war and you can't speak out against us? If the community guidelines were bad before, I can't imagine what they'll be like now. But I am going to read you this article here from the New York Times, the one that Trump tried to sue and the judge dismissed it because it was just Trump's own personal hatred guiding the whole thing. But here it is, folks. Trump says the Murdochs may join TikTok investors. Fox Corporation is considering investing in the popular video app as part of a bid to avert a U.S. ban, a person familiar with the situation said after the president's remarks. So this one was written by Lauren Hirsch and Emmett Linder. Donald Trump said in an interview aired on Sunday that the media mogul Rupert Murdoch and his son Lachlan, the chief executive of the Fox Corporation, could be among the investors involved in the deal to bring the popular video app TikTok under U.S. ownership. I'm not going to play the clip. I watched it. It was pretty ridiculous. But anyway, Trump said a man named Lachlan is involved. He and Rupert are probably going to be in the group. I think they're going to be in the group. The potential investment would be made by the Fox Corporation, the conservative media behemoth that operates Fox News and the Fox Broadcast Network, according to a person with knowledge of the talks. The interest came as ByteDance, TikTok's Chinese owner, races to line up investors for a deal that would separate the app's U.S. business from that of its Chinese parent. That move is required under federal law passed last year and the national security concerns about TikTok's ties to China. Donald Trump has delayed the enforcement of the law 4 times, most recently last week. Negotiators have been working on a deal for months. Mr. Trump said last week that there has been significant progress, including support from Xi Jinping. I always have a hard time saying his name. I can't say it 5 times real fast. China's leader. New investors would join to dilute Chinese ownership in the company to less than 20% to satisfy the law. Trump said in his Fox News interview with Larry Ellison, a founder of the software giant Oracle, and Michael Dell, chief executive of computer maker Dell Technologies, were involved in the deal. Oracle, which already provides computing resources for TikTok, is among those expected to take stake in a new business. And Mr. Dale is also considering investing in the company, a person familiar with the situation said. Possible investors, Mr. Trump said, love this country, so I think they'll do a really good job. The potential investors also raised questions about whether the new owners would have the power to tone or would have the power to influence the tone or the content of the app. The Murdochs have run their media businesses with a firm conservative tilt. Mr. Ellison is a supporter of Trump's. He and his family are also increasingly interested in media. He helped finance a bid by his son David to the entertainment giant Paramount, or Warner Brothers Discovery could be next week. So some of ByteDance's largest investors include General Atlantic and, I can't pronounce that name, International Group. They plan to stay on as investors in the new company. And the private equity Silver Lake has also had conversations in recent weeks about investing in the deal. But a deal includes wrinkles. Investors have been in discussions to pay a multi-billion-dollar transaction fee to the U.S. government for people familiar with the talks said. Such a structure is highly unusual, but reminiscent of other moves Mr. Trump has made into U.S. dealing. I can go ahead and tell you that if it ends up being controlled by Fox News, it sure as hell ain't going to be fair and balanced. It's not fair and balanced now. It's hard as hell to get any traction over there at the moment. And if it is controlled by Fox News and you're not allowed to speak out against Charlie Kirk or disagree with them at all, what's the damn point? So all we can do is hold on to the platforms that we have while we have them and use them to speak up and use our voices to our advantage. Now, as far as the TikTok app goes, this is pretty much what I've always said when talking to friends about it. I like the creators that are there, but I would encourage any of them listening to find other platforms to use, which I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Brando, they're all going to end up being owned by Trump. I understand, but I just always thought TikTok was hot garbage. I can't help it. It's impossible for me to hold that feeling back anymore. I love the creators over there that do good work. There's a lot of good people over there that do a lot of good work and have built really good followings over there. There's also a lot of people who makes their living over there. And, that should be taken into consideration, of course. But as far as the way that the app is ran and the way that you're constantly getting hit with guideline violations, and I'll give you an example of just how stupid that some of them are. I got one that said I was trying to influence people to watch my video. I thought that was the whole point. I thought that's why we were there. I thought the people that were crashing and burning on skateboards was trying to get you to watch them do it. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just me. But I just got that. That was when I just kind of went, you know what? I'm not going to keep wasting my time with this. Or then you get accused of harassing and bullying someone who left a comment calling you every name in the book, and you reply to that comment, which, by the way, is a feature on the app. You can pin the comment up in the corner of the screen. You can talk to it, talk about it. But you do that, and then that person reports you for harassment and bullying, and then, yeah, that's where you go. So I did get my start there. So, yeah, I'll always remember it for getting my start there. It's super easy to use as far as you just sit down, record your video, boom, it's there. There's a lot of cool things about it, but the negative always outweighed the good to me, and now I don't know that there'll be any good if it's controlled by Fox News, and if the government has a hand in every form of media that we put out. And I just sit over here sometimes saying, where in the hell is that tyrannical government crowd? Where did they go? And they get mad when I use the word authoritarian, but I'm going to be right here in this chair as long as I have a platform that'll let me. And I'm going to be saying the definition of authoritarian. It is favoring strict obedience to authority, especially at the expense of personal freedom. And we have seen a whole lot of people's freedom of speech be taken away and their platforms be taken away because they spoke out. And then fascism is a governmental system led by a dictator having complete control and power, forcibly suppressing opposition and criticism. Donald Trump has said in recent days it should be illegal to criticize him, and he believes that it is. And he also says that he hates his political opponents. But the definition goes on to say regimenting all industry, commerce, etc., and emphasizing an aggressive nationalism and often racism. So sometimes I've had people say, why you call us nationalists for it? They wear that with a badge of honor. If you listen to all the people that are going to bat for Charlie Kirk, they absolutely use that as a badge of honor. So they call themselves that. But if the media is going to be controlled all the way around by one dude and it has to live up to his standards, by definition, that's authoritarian. By definition, that's fascist. And so, folks, we've never seen freedom of speech under attack quite like this. And I know I say this every video, but I'm not surprised. I always knew what MAGA was. We tried to point it out. We tried to point out the red flags. We tried to say, hey, this doesn't look right. Hey, you don't want a dictator. But we had people that told us they was okay with it. And they will be until one day this all backfires. Until one day a Democrat gets elected, if we're allowed to have elections. And what if you ever got a Democrat in office who was just a bigger tyrant than Trump, except he turned all of his rage the other way and said, hey, yeah, we'll just take TikTok back. We'll just shut down Jesse Waters. And I mean, if you shut down Brian Kilmeade, I mean, he said we should kill the homeless. So I think right there, that was a pretty good reason to go ahead and boot that guy off the air. But that guy still has his job. And Jimmy Kimmel just simply said that MAGA had spent all their time trying to prove that the shooter wasn't one of them, which they're still doing. And he got booted. So all I will say about all of this is this. To the people who preach the loudest about the tyrannical government, the fact that you're not saying something about this tells us that you never meant it all along. And to the people that preach the loudest about free speech, and I can't count the times I heard Joe Rogan sit and go on and on and on about you can't control the speech. You can't have the government telling people what they can and can't say. Well, I'll be watching to see if Rogan says anything else. And it would be really nice if people like him with his platform would come out swinging the opposite way. But I won't hold my breath for that either, because people like that is always going to go where the money is. And right now the money's with Trump. I hate to say that, but that's just the truth. And so we will continue to use our platforms for the greater good. We will continue to quote the Constitution, and we will continue to stand on the First Amendment that we so strongly believe in. But until I see more people on the right, and there are some, Ted Cruz, I never thought I'd agree with him, Tucker Carlson, Ben Shapiro, I think Tulsi Gabbard, pretty sure she did too. A couple others have said, of course, Steve Bannon said, just squash them all. That's just because he's still butthurt over having to go to jail. But Ted Cruz said it might feel good to cancel Jimmy Kimmel now, but this could come back and bite us on the ass. And let me ask you, if it ever does, if it comes back around and we see Jesse Waters and Brian Kilmeade taken off the air and we see social media platforms bought out and controlled by whoever the president is, I mean, I wouldn't approve of that. That's not the country I want to live in. But at the same time, I sure as hell wouldn't feel sorry for none of them. Would you?